I'm facing, they wanted to give me 8 to 15 more years for hitting the cop. Definitely not going to be level 2 no more. All kinds of hurdles, right? All kinds of like problems that I'm facing. But I get on my knees. I give my life to God. I really like finally felt this forgiveness, because like I was still carrying shame and guilt. I hadn't forgiven myself yet for taking Ryan's life. And so like, February or May 21st, 2016 was the day like I really gave my addiction to God. And I spent till July, my shoe term was up. And the warden, I went to committee, still fighting court. And I said, man, I said, your officer wasn't an intended target. I said, I don't care if we're wearing green or blue. Like, I'm a man, and I'm gonna tell you right now, like, he wasn't someone that I was trying to go after. I said, you give me one chance to stay here and take advantage of these opportunities, I ain't gonna let you down. And I was able to stay at San Quentin, right? Like, I had to, like, there was a couple times for like the next year that they quote unquote had to put me up for transfer because of my points, but the transfer would run out. I wasn't put on a bus, and that was stressful, right? Like, just like, man, like this, like getting transferred to another prison. But God broke down every barrier that that man put up. And so I still had all these issues, but I'm at a place where there's like over 100 self-help programs. So all I had to do is pull myself around some good people, which there's a lot of good dudes there. There's a lot of good dudes that had like crazy reputations from being gangsters back in the day that are serving life in prison. So I just, circled myself around some good solid dudes and followed them to the programs. And, one thing led to the next. The next thing you know, I'm starting to learn how to communicate. I'm starting to understand my feelings and just how things go on. And
how old are you at this point?
So let's see. I was like late 20s.
All right. So
late
you
20s,
really
like 29. I'm maturing, right?
Yeah.
And just naturally maturing with age.
Of course.
But now I'm like doing work, right? Yeah. And I just like around the baseball program, I got involved with the baseball program, and like I just like no one was taking care of the baseball field. So I'd go out and work on the field, get it ready, and like I fell in love with service, like through the field, because like I'd get the field ready, chalk it, be looking, nice, ready to play on, and all the guys would just be like, man, this looks great. Like they were so grateful to have a nice field to play on. Like, man, like I just love helping. Like that little thing of getting the field ready, like I just like fell in love with hooking people up and helping people and serving people. And so, over the years, I ended up taking a plea for 4 years with halftime, so I had to do 2 additional years as long as I stayed out of trouble for the staff on assault. So that put my out date originally until 2026. 2025 was my out date. But I just kept doing the right thing, dude. Like I just kept taking program after program. Next thing you know, I'm facilitating, teaching programs, started a couple programs. We'll talk about, one of my favorite ones here in a minute, but God just started opening up doors. People were coming into San Quentin that like, that I never even knew, but like just lots of influence. I started building so many relationships and like good things were happening. It was trickling over to my family. Like despite all the chaos and the struggles we were going through, like God just, paved the way.
That's dope. Did you get educated as far as did you get like a college degree while you were at San Quentin?
So I was doing a lot of college, and that's one of my regrets. When my grandfather died a couple years ago, like he was always like, do your college. And I stayed enrolled in a college. I'm a few credits away from getting an AA, but I was more interested in like building out some leadership programs that I like created at San Quentin that really had an impact. And then we started a film program. And so I was never like big on like traditional education, more so educate yourself on something that you want to do. And that was also like an excuse. So like I said, I do regret not putting my head in the books and getting, AA, bachelor's, master's. I got friends who got multiple masters while serving out their sentence. But like I was doing education a lot of different ways.
All right, so you have mentioned just your involvement in like leadership programs and facilitating and teaching. And obviously, man, it's like just hearing your story, man, completely different and when it comes to the details, but the principle is like the exact same. You know what I mean? Like at the lowest low, God redeeming and transforming my life and then beginning to show me like the strengths that I always seen were there from childhood, like you mentioned, like as an athlete and as a leader, and especially even in the streets, but it's outletted in a negative way. But when God redeems us, then God also redeems those gifts and those strengths. So now He's using you as a leader to impact people's lives. I'm sure, of course, obviously with the gospel, with ministry as well. But you as specifically